Welcome to Empowering Plans, a show dedicated to identifying waste and undue expense in the health benefits industry, discovering ways to maximize benefits while minimizing costs, and empowering employers, administrators, and consultants to emphasize, once again, the benefit in benefit plan. Today's episode is brought to you by the FIA Group, empowering plans since 1999. Now here are your hosts, the FIA Group's own CEO, Adam Russo, and Senior Vice President and General Counsel, Ron Peck.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Empowering Plans with the FIA Group. My name is Adam Russo. I'm your co-host. I'm the CEO and co-founder of the company. Alongside me, actually not alongside me, across from me is a very sad man. Very sad today. His Patriots lost the Super Bowl. You know, he came in yesterday. The few bits of hair he had on his head were gone. They were still in his hands. He must have ripped them out. Watching that last Hail Mary throw by Brady with a couple seconds left. It almost got caught. Knowing the Patriots, it would have been caught. Like, I was surprised they actually didn't catch that ball, to be honest with you. That wasn't a Hail Mary. I'm like, oh, that's an automatic catch. But anyways, across from me is Ron Peck. Say hello, Ron.
Hello, Ron.
Ron is not happy, guys. He's still depressed. It's been a couple days. I don't know what's going to take to get him feel better. Maybe the Mets actually having a winning season this year. Alongside me, actually next to me, is our newest co-host, Brady Bizzarro. Say hello, Brady.
Hello, Brady.
Folks, we have a lot to talk about today. It's action-packed. The first thing I want to make sure we bring up is the fact that from now on, we'll be doing these podcasts every week just because you all love to hear our voices so much. So we're making sure Pat got a little bonus. He got a little raise because we're asking him to do even more work than normal. So, Pat, you got an extra 25 cents on that hourly amount that you're making.
All right, ladies will be publishing his phone number.
Yes. He is literally, yeah, exactly. His dollar bills is flying in the air.
Making it rain with Pat.
He's making it rain. Making it rain with Pat might be a good podcast.
Here you go.
He might get more followers than us. But a big part of what we're doing is once a week we're going to do the podcast, and then every other week we will be interviewing someone in the industry or someone of just some substance, like, you know, a celebrity maybe. Who knows who it will be, but we're going to try to mix it up. We're going to have different people in here, and we're really excited about getting other people other than just Brady and Ron and myself involved in these Empowering Plans podcasts. Any thoughts on that, boys?
I think we should be sponsored, too. We should take the next step, I think.
Sponsorship.
Yeah, why
like
not?
What? Like a car wash or something?
Car wash.
Maybe a jingle, you know, if anybody's got a nice
creatine
jingle.
or something,
You
yeah.
know. This episode is brought to you by Tide. Tide, cleaning up the industry. I don't know, something like
Might
that.
as well.
Tide
right.
cleaning up the industry.
Is that
I like
where you're
As long
going?
as it's not Tide Pods, I think that's fine.
Well, that's not bad. So a little self-promotion here. I don't want to do a big plug, but we're going to have to do it to pay the bills. Brady, I know we have a really cool new FMLA paid leave service that we want to discuss. You can take a couple minutes to talk about that with the fine folks, and maybe some people might be interested, but we're getting a huge amount of feedback. A lot of people are asking for it just because the little amount of investment you have to make and the returns are stupendous.
Yeah, so first thing to note is that this actually is the 25th anniversary of the FMLA. It was signed into law in '93 by Bill Clinton, and really over the last couple decades, there's been a push where more and more states have been enacting paid family leave laws because, as most of you will know, the FMLA itself does not require that employees be paid. It's just about providing leave to people who have a young child or a sick relative. And so really, this was something that was really buried, I would say, in the tax law and didn't get that many headlines, but the ability for an employer, a large employer, in certain cases to receive a business tax credit when they offer 100% paid leave to certain eligible employees. And that was sort of seen as a trial balloon that the feds were throwing out there, seeing that other states were having their own paid leave laws. And if this works out at the federal level, I think we should expect this to become a permanent thing. But for now, what the tax credit allows is basically up to $3,000 per employee by having a separate written program that meets or exceeds a number of prerequisites. Basically, you have to give employees 100% of their salary and give them at least 2 weeks off. It's very, very similar to the FMLA. But it's very confusing, as most tax laws are. And so what we've done is we've come up with a template policy, and we can work with our clients to customize it based on their own employee handbooks and make it so that, you know, we can navigate this process for them and provide a policy they can use to offer their employees paid leave and get a bonus for it.
Thanks, Brady. And Adam, Brady, one of the things I like a lot about this is really how it reflects on what we're doing here at the FIA Group. Some people will say, how does that relate at all to the health benefit plans, subrogation, consulting that you guys normally do? And if you step back and you look at the big picture, one, we were looking at the new tax law because of the individual mandate, and so the impact it was going to have on the health benefit plans we work with. And two, we routinely look at employer policies and handbooks because we're looking for gaps between it and the health plan and the stop loss. So all the pieces, all the parts that come into play in this particular policy and program, we were already examining it. And so I like that this is just another example of where you're working on one thing and it leads to something else. And so I'm very thrilled that happened here. And, you talk about the potential savings and the opportunity here. Again, it's one of those things that people might have missed. And when you look at what it's going to cost you to do this is money on the table. We're actually charging $600, I believe, to provide this policy.
And what are we looking at potential savings-wise? I mean, if you're a company, you spend $600 on this policy that we drafted for you. I mean, what are we talking about from savings
for
here?
each person that this impacts? You're talking about $3,000. It's money on the table. $3,000 per person. $600, put the policy in place. You're doing this already, and it's a really nice thing to do also as far as benefits and promotion are concerned. We talk all the time about how the health plan is such a great recruitment tool. Well, here you could also say, hey, look, funded FMLA leave.
So
Fantastic.
basically, folks, send us the $600 instead of sending it to your stockbroker because all that money be gone probably by tomorrow. So this way, you get a good ROI on that $600 investment over the course of the year. Great stuff. I appreciate it. So the big news this week, last week, I've gotten more brokers calling me up, petrified that their jobs are going to be lost. It's the end of the world. Amazon is getting into healthcare. So anybody want to give us some details on this?
Yeah.
Brady, you love talking about this stuff. What's going on?
Brady, they put Toys R Us out of business. Now they're going to
yeah.
put us out of business. What's going to happen?
Not us, Ron, brokers. So
it's
let's
funny
talk about it.
Yeah, sure. I think I heard this on the way into work on NPR actually early in the morning, and it was sort of like, wow, stocks are tumbling for certain healthcare providers and CVS and drug manufacturers because the news and Amazon is making a go at this. So really, though, let's not confuse what's going on here. This is Warren Buffett, Jamie Dimon from JP Morgan Chase, and Jeff Bezos at Amazon have gotten together, and their goal is to provide their own employees for now.
Right,
for now, with affordable health care. So what a great idea, but it's just going to benefit them. But what people are paying attention to is whatever they come up with, you can bet they're going to sell and they're going to expand into the entire healthcare industry. And when Amazon literally is printing money left and right, whatever they come up with and whoever they work with, we need to watch and follow it.
Well, don't forget, Buffett's companies are already in our space. So if you're in a self-funded world, you may not realize this, but Amwins is an organization owned by Berkshire Hathaway, and they're in our business. They're in the stop loss business. They're in the MGU business. They have stop loss brokerage firms. They own third-party administrators. So they're already in the healthcare space. But it seems to me, I'm getting phone calls from people, and this is what the concern is. These smaller brokerage houses are concerned that their clientele, the employer groups, instead of coming to them for advice or asking them to identify which insurance product, which self-funded plan design, fully insured, do I go with an ASO carrier, do I go with a TPA, what stop-loss carrier do I choose? They're nervous that just like JCPenney and just like Sears, the employer will say, I don't need a broker. I can just go to Amazon.com and get all my insurance right there. But here's what they're missing the point on. And I see you guys nodding your heads, and maybe you agree with that tactic. Here's where I disagree. Brokers are the gatekeepers. They're the experts. They're the relationship. What I know is, unlike Sears, a person doesn't have a relationship with the Sears cashier. They don't walk into Sears, and the reason they're going to Sears is because they like the general manager. They're going to Sears over another store because it's cheaper. The product is there. They can pick it up, and they believe it's a quality product.
Sure.
That's why. But when it comes to brokers, as you all know, it's all about relationships. You've cultivated a relationship. These employers, these HR departments trust you as their advisor. You can't just replace that trust with the website. So I don't see Amazon necessarily replacing a trusted advisor, a trusted broker. I don't see that happening. People Right now, when you sell a house, you can go on a website and try to sell your house on your own, but people still hire real estate agents. Why? Even though that other piece is already there on the market. Ron?
Yeah, I definitely think that what they're going to look to do, and again, I could be completely off here, but
You
looks
are.
like
You are.
they are addressing means to access healthcare, obtain healthcare, pay for healthcare, but those are all just tools. If you look, for instance, and obviously we're huge proponents for self-funding, but if you look even at the way of paying for healthcare, right? Paying for healthcare, insurance, fully funded traditional insurance, self-funded benefit plan, stop-loss, reinsurance, right? These are all means to an end. These are all tools to achieve the purchase of healthcare. So if this organization, this conglomerate is going to come in and come up with new ways to access and pay for healthcare, great, but it's just one more tool in the toolbox. The broker's job is not to be a tool. The broker's job is to advise on which tools are best for you and how best to use them. And so if there's just another tool in the toolbox, that doesn't replace the role of the advisor.
The bottom line is, there's been so many situations where an independent person has gone to an employer with a great idea, and that employer says, yep, sounds great. Let me call my broker and see what they think. That's just the truth of the way it works, right? For example, this morning I woke up and I noticed there was a little stain on my ceiling.
Uh-oh.
Right? Who did I call? I called my contractor, the guy that I trust with anything. If a pipe burst, I'm calling this guy. If a carpet needs to be replaced, I'm calling this guy. If I got to hang something on the wall, I'm calling this guy. No matter what it is, he's the guy that I trust, who I know will put me with the right person to get the job done.
But Adam, isn't the point here that in 10 years, instead of calling your trusted guy, you're going to be asking Alexa, I have a stain on my ceiling. What's going to happen? Alexa, I think I have something wrong, with my leg. I got pain in my leg. Alexa, what's going to happen?
Honestly, see your point.
So in other words, the bigger point, I think, and the reason to perhaps be a little worried here, I think big data is going to be involved in whatever these companies come up with. They have access to more data than most companies do. They have almost unlimited resources. And I think terms like pharmacogenetics will become more relevant, and wellness programs and incentive programs. These companies are great at disrupting the industry and coming up with really innovative ideas. And they're also great at either drowning competitors or taking what competitors do well and sort of making it their own. And that's what I think we should be watching for.
So, Brady, great point. I think the thing to keep in mind, if you're a broker advisor, taking your words to heart, when you look at something like Alexa, it's still, at least currently, is depending on the consumer expressing need and having that need fulfilled. I believe that you're right. They're going to eventually start to understand your patterns. I know that one of the things that Jeff Bezos and Amazon eventually said they want to do someday is by studying your needs and your patterns and your shopping habits, they actually send you things without you asking, and then it's on you to send it back if you don't want it.
Crazy.
But they can't make you actually take that pill.
Right. So what I'm thinking is from the
healthcare
perspective,
10 years.
If we want to differentiate ourselves in the healthcare space, it's that element of knowing somebody, knowing their needs, and advising them on what they need before they ask for it.
So here's what no one's brought up, and this is what I haven't been hearing. So I'm getting all these calls from brokers and consultants all freaked out about this and what it's going to mean. How about the pharmacy drug manufacturers?
Sure.
How about the PBMs? If you want to talk about an area where these three companies could make a change, how about buying drugs directly? Amazon could literally go out and just purchase a bunch of drugs and sell them on their website.
Right.
That, to me, is where networks, PBMs, PPO networks, all those delivery systems, these three organizations go to any facility in the country and say, we have access to millions of consumers. We want a direct contract with your facility, and we will sell your facility services through our website. That, to me, if you want to be someone that's nervous, it's a network. It's a PBM. It's anyone that's trying to upcharge on pharmacy claims. Those are the organizations where I think there's an immediate, not 10, 20-year impact, but that can be impacted today.
I think that's why you saw, CVS shares fall right in the morning when this was announced. I think that's a great point, Adam.
Great
and also,
point. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they did. They recovered since, but I think that that shook them to their core. And I think you're right that drug prices are, as we know, really exploding. The cost of self-funded plans and fully insured plans, and it's a source of much controversy at the government level and the private sector. And so Amazon, they have millions of customers. They could say, hey, we'll deliver you drugs, who knows, by drone one day or something. But
drugs by drone. Sounds like the wall won't help. If we have that wall, it's not going to help us with with drones by drugs.
But to me, that's the low-hanging fruit here is go after drugs
prices. By drones.
I like that.
That's a great. Hey, it might be a new company we start run.
There you go.
But again, I think it's a big issue. I see brokers freaking out, but I think if from a standpoint of will this partnership or whatever they want to call it, will it disrupt the brokerage community? I don't see it from a short-term standpoint, but we do see the ability for them to buy in bulk and directly sell those products to a consumer might be something that the drug manufacturers and PBMs have to be on the lookout for. Any last thoughts, guys, before we end this?
Yeah, I think, Adam, know your role. You know, who used to say that? Wasn't it a pro wrestler who used to say that?
Yeah,
The Rock, there you go. Know your role. I think for brokers and for advisors, that's going to be the key to success, is really defining your role and maximizing the value of that role and how you differentiate.
And
Brady?
one last thing for me, I think, and we're a lot about predictions on this show, as our listeners know. I would predict that no matter what happens, I think in some way, everyone in our industry is going to have to work with Amazon in some capacity, or you'll benefit from doing so in the future, and that may not be a bad thing.
Right, so, we talk about predictions. Maybe by the next time we have a webinar, we will know what happened to Malcolm Butler, Ron. Why didn't he play in the Super Bowl? Maybe we'll figure it out. Maybe Belichick will finally tell us what happened, because something happened that day. We don't know what it is, but we promise you, we will share Ron's thoughts in 2 weeks when we hopefully find out what happened on that Super Bowl. Maybe, we'll have some information for all you folks out there, and Ron will smile again. But anyways, on behalf of Brady, Pat Santos, our producer, Ron Peck, and myself, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for empowering your plans with the FIA Group.